This has been a character talked about for 3 years, and now we're finally seeing him after all. And Sherlock is not a fan, so is he living up to sort of the fearsome nature that we've heard about him?
Fearsome is probably not the right word. I mean, he's a very strong character, but he doesn't exhibit those overt emotions that you're talking about. He's very calm, he's very strong, he's very articulate, and so but he loves his son. That's evident. He's come back to save his son again, second time. So that's the element that's in there. But he's obviously someone he's enigmatic, as I said, mysterious. You don't know where he's coming from. And Sherlock and Watson don't know why he's there. So, they're making stuff up about what's he doing here, and Jones saying, but he's not as bad as you said he was. Well, and all this sort of stuff going on. And so we build through this. He pops in every couple of episodes, during the year, and eventually it'll come into a major climax at the end of the season as to his role there. And it's really interesting because to know the father is to understand the son to some degree,
right.
And that's part of the glory of it.
Yeah, because I'm curious because we've got Sherlock's perception of the situation, but he's going to have his "my dad didn't treat me right" perception. So safe to say that there are other facets of the guy that maybe Sherlock can't see straight.
Oh, totally. I mean, in the company of our parents, doesn't matter whether we're 60 or 6, we revert to children. I mean, it's the most fascinating thing to observe. And the status changes. And, for the first 3 years, Sherlock's always had the status. He walks into a room and he's in control of it. When he walks in with his father, he's not.
Right.
That's the first time we see that with him. And that's an interesting thing to acknowledge and to play. And so it's been fantastic playing with Johnny Lee Miller and Lucy Liu, by the way. They're amazing actors.
And then meanwhile, of course, there is Watson, who I believe, if we go back to the beginning of the show, Sherlock's father was the one who first kind of put her there as a separate companion. So what's their relationship like?
Between
Watson and Sherlock's father?
Well, I mean, by the time we reach this stage, she's changed from being that sober companion role, and she's become more a close friend and protector in some ways. And all she's heard about this fellow is not very fine, and he feels dangerous, and he makes Sherlock upset. She doesn't like that. But as we've gone on, he's not behaving that badly, and he's confusing both of them. Perhaps he's not. Maybe we made a mistake, including Joan. He's going, I can't work this guy out. He seems to be nice. He seems to be charming. He's doing the right things. So we're in that stage at present. Halfway through the season, we're still there. They don't know, and the audience doesn't know. He seems to be quite nice, which we don't expect him to be.
Right. Sherlock Holmes has been obviously a very enduring character, mythology. Is it fun for you to get to take part in this specific take on Sherlock and their spin on it?
It's brilliant because what we knew about Sherlock, for example, was that he used cocaine. We knew that. It was like, oh, really? But a lot of those guys did of that 19th century group. Also, all of those eccentrics in the 19th century came from wealthy families. If you go back and study history, so obviously he came from a wealthy family, which enabled him to go and do things without getting paid. Okay. What was the question, Eric?
Just that, is it fun for you to get to play on this take on Sherlock Holmes?
And given that background, we now bring it into our century, and we now know a lot more about addictive behaviour, and we don't think it's kind of cute anymore. And so dealing with that now within the AAs or the NAs or the 12-step programs, which Sherlock has had to do to stay sober. And he would have hated that. He would have hated that so much. So we see it from a different way now, and we see his struggle against this insidious thing instead of this cool guy going off and snorting some coke. This insidious thing that will kill you, that will affect your life in every way possible. And we're seeing it from that point of view now. So we're hoping he'll stay sober.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So hard because we all identify. We know people that have gone down this path. And that's brilliant, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
That's kind of the difference.
Lastly, I just have to ask: should we ever assume on Sleepy Hollow that dead is dead and gone is gone, or is there any chance for a return at any point?
Well, not in the foreseeable future. I'm working with CBS now, and I don't see any place for him in that show. Look, I love the producers, Roberto and Alex, and they said, well, would you ever consider it? I said, of course, if you do that, but I don't think it's going to happen, to be honest with you.
Right.
I can't see a place.
Right. Feel like you got closure on that storyline?
I think it was time to get closure on it too.
Right. Well, thank you.